Coming up, McDonald County authorities cut down a crime spree involving the stealing of $20,000 worth of trees.
I don't know if you've been outside yet this morning, but it's a little bit on the chilly side. We're going to talk about how warm it'll get this afternoon and if we have any rain on the way coming up.
And one nonprofit takes horses out of unsafe and abusive situations and gives them a safe haven.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Buck.
I'm Chris Warner. So quick update on Ian. I know Ian's kind of been the thing for the last several days, but it's now over the Atlantic as a Category 1 hurricane. We said it wasn't likely, but unfortunately it did happen. Winds are at 85 miles an hour and it's expected to make landfall late this evening, our time. Right around Charleston, South Carolina. So we've got hurricane warnings. Well, that was supposed to be hurricane warnings, but that's okay. They stretch from the southern portions of the North Carolina coast back through South Carolina. I've heard a lot of folks have already evacuated Charleston ahead of the storm and gone to higher ground because of all the rain that's expected. Here locally, it is a little bit chilly. I got outside and it was cold. I almost went back in for a coat, but then I remembered it's going to warm up later and I won't need that coat. 46 degrees in Joplin right now under clear skies. We got 45 Fort Scott, 51 in Iola. Fort Scott and Iola always are amazing to me because they're not that far apart on Highway 54, and yet there's always a big difference in their temperature. 51 Parsons, Chanute, 45 Columbus, 45 Neosho, and 43 in Anderson. We talk about the drought situation. As you can see, the update that came down yesterday has expanded the exceptional drought across a good chunk of the area, and exceptional is as high as it goes. The drought situation has worsened due to the lack of rain and the warm weather we've been seeing. We don't really have a lot of rain on the way, unfortunately. We'll talk about that. 46 at 7 a.m. when kids get on the bus with a light east breeze. And then we'll have some increasing clouds, partly cloudy skies, 74 by the time they head home. So not bad for today in terms of temperatures and the conditions. 81 is our ultimate high under partly cloudy skies later today. Increasing clouds overnight will be mostly cloudy to start tomorrow. And we'll drop back down to a low of about 51 degrees. And heading into our weekend, we do warm up a bit. 82 on Saturday, 84 on Sunday. A few more clouds Saturday, still staying unseasonably warm and dry. We're going to take a look at the 7-day forecast and talk about at least a shot at rain here in just a few minutes.
That's right. A lot to talk about, and I'm looking forward to that rain. Hopefully it will come.
That's what we're all keeping our fingers crossed for.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Murder charges against a Pittsburgh man are dropped. Dominic Short had been charged with murder, among other crimes, in the shooting death of his mother, Stephanie Short, and the shooting of Velma Kuby. In court, Dominic Short argued he acted in self-defense, and the judge agreed. All charges against him have now been dropped. His co-defendant, James Hamilton, is still charged in this case. Authorities in McDonald County, Missouri, have arrested 2 people accused of stealing $20,000 worth of trees. Detectives say Megan Rios-Kaminsky and Gavin Lawson, both of Anderson, went on someone else's land and cut down several walnut, white oak, and black oak trees to sell. They are both charged with felony stealing. A Joplin animal rescue shelter is warning people about scammers posing as shelter representatives. The scammers are going through the Golden Paws Animal Rescue Facebook comments, telling people that they are starting to breed and sell dogs. When they receive payments, the scammers cut contact.
It affects how people perceive us, because we are a shelter of taking care of animals. We're not in the business of selling dogs. We're not a breeder. So it affects us as far as what people perspect us to be, because we are a shelter and we're a nonprofit shelter, and we're a rescue shelter at that. We're not a breeder. So
Gardner says the scammers are in no way affiliated with Golden Paws. Angel Wings Equine Rescue is a nonprofit that gives horses a safe haven. Angel Wings rescues horses from unsafe and abusive situations and transforms them into happy, healthy horses. Since starting 2 years ago, Angel Wings operates on donations and volunteerism. The passion for helping horses is rewarding at the end of the day.
The amazing differences in each horse and what they are able to do and what they connect with is just absolutely wonderful. They
You can find information to donate and volunteer for Angel Wings on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. More than 30 local employers with open positions show up for the Cherokee County Job Fair in Baxter Springs, Kansas. Kansas Works Workforce Center hosted the event in an effort to find local people looking for jobs.
We just hope to connect job seekers to employers. That's our mission, is connecting job seekers to employers, so that way we can benefit our local communities.
Bohr says job fairs have provided thousands of jobs to people locally. Well, nicer temperatures bring more motorcycles on the road, so a school in southeast Kansas is teaching students how to look out for safety concerns. Fort Scott Community College Harley-Davidson Technician Training School teaches everything from mechanical work to safety. According to an instructor, it's not always about what you wear, but how prepared your bike is for the road conditions.
We teach students to do a walk-around inspection, tread depth, tire pressures, belt tensions, make sure all the lighting, safety controls are functioning correctly.
Instructors also say loose grass blown on the road from mowers is very dangerous for motorcycles.
All right, quick check of our 7-day forecast, and you can see where we warm up, as we mentioned, through the weekend and into next week. We're in the mid-80s, and then we start to cool off a little bit, and we see some slight rain chances Wednesday and Thursday. Still keeping a close eye on those. We are hopeful that they do come to fruition because we need the rain. Given our drought situation, it's not going to make that big of a difference, but any rain we get will certainly be beneficial. And I wanted to give you all a quick update. We spoke with meteorologist Andrew Shipley from Fox 4 Fort Myers yesterday morning. He was finally able to make it home yesterday afternoon. He had concerns about his apartment being in downtown Fort Myers, that it had been flooded, but he said his apartment was actually okay.
Wow.
There's a lot of debris and downed trees and things like that out in front of it, but he said his apartment was okay. But he also did say that a number of his colleagues at the station lost something, and a number of them also lost everything. So
wow.
Still a devastating situation down there in Florida.
All right, we'll definitely be keeping our eye on them down there. All right, thanks, Chris. That's a look at this morning's top stories in weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Webb City Cardinals have won 14 straight volleyball matches this year. Could they continue to soar against Nixa? Or did they get their wings clipped? Chris has the answer in sports.
Plus, it seems like the holiday shopping season gets earlier every year as retailers try to encourage shoppers to take advantage of the best deals. But is it too soon to start talking about Christmas?
And today is World Heart Day, and we'll introduce you to one family with plenty of reason to celebrate the holiday. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, we're just a day away from the latest edition of the Miners Bowl rivalry game between Pittsburg State and Missouri Southern. The Gorillas host the Lions on Saturday afternoon. Pitt State is 4-0 heading into the weekend. Southern 3-1, and they've won 3 straight. For the Gorillas, their defense has been on a roll pretty much all season long. They're one of just 2 teams in the MIAA giving up fewer than 300 yards per game. Saturday will be a good test for PSU on that side against a Southern team that's found their offensive rhythm the last few weeks.
The offensive line moves the ball really well, change line of scrimmage really well. They have a good running back in Nathan Glades, and their quarterback's pretty solid. On the outside, they got receivers who can run. They got big physical guys on the outside. So, it's going to present a challenge to us stopping the run and then being disciplined when they set up a play-action pass on the outside.
They're a really improved team, 3-1 on the season against some really good opponents. And like I've said before, and this conference, it's a dogfight every week. Doesn't matter who we're playing. So we got to be our best, and we got to show up and take care of what we can control and go 1-0 this week.
The Webb City Cardinals are one of the hottest volleyball teams in the area. The Cards have won 14 straight matches and entered last night with a 22-1 overall record. Now, highlights from Webb City at home with a big COC matchup against Nixa, aiming to stay rolling. Now, Webb City starts strong. A big kill for freshman Jaylee Rutledge. Cardinals grind out the first set 25-23. To the second, off the serve, Sophia Crane dives to keep the point alive. Kate Brownfield finishes it, but Nixa goes on to take the set. Later, Madison Goldman, great shot right on the back line. Eagles take set 3 as well. Fourth set, Cardinals give everything to stay in it. They come up with the block, fired up now, but Nixa, they're able to close it out. Nora Clark goes up for the kill, places it in the open court. Nixa hands Webb City its first COC loss, 3-1.
That just shows us how close we really are, and we can learn from everything that we did. When we were the aggressor, when we really started playing hard and smart together, that's when we were scoring and that's when we won. Unfortunately, we kind of let that down and had some unforced errors. That's where you learn that, hey, we can really actually do this. We can hang with player or teams this big, and we're just excited because we look at it as everything is up from here.
Kansas City Royals finish up a 3-game series with the Detroit Tigers yesterday afternoon. The Royals are trying to avoid the sweep after dropping each of the first 2 games. After this, it's 6 against Cleveland, and the Royals are done for the season. This game, though, not a great one for Kansas City. Willie Castro solo homer. Tigers go up 1-0. Top of the 5th, same score. Salvador Perez down the line, but Harold Castro hustles back and makes the grab. Check it out again. Over the shoulder. Royals didn't score until the 8th in this one, and that was too late. Javi Baez in the bottom of the 5th. 2-run jack, his 16th. Tigers sweep the Royals, winning this one 10-3. So to come, Russian President Vladimir Putin is expected to make an announcement saying his country is annexing occupied territory in Ukraine. And we got another check of your forecast and an update on Ian when the KOAM Morning News returns. Our Skywatch storm tracker is clear on the local level, and you can see there is some shower activity right along the I-35 corridor out by Wichita. Unfortunately, it's not going to make it our direction. The other piece of rain that we're watching is Hurricane Ian as it churns in the Atlantic and gets ready to make landfall for a second time here in the U.S. in South Carolina. So they're a little hard to see because they're coastal, but there are hurricane warnings along the North Carolina coast, and you can see a little clearer the hurricane warnings that go all the way back through South Carolina. A lot of folks, from what we've heard this morning, have already left Charleston ahead of the storm, and they're heading for higher ground. It's more some storm surge concerns and a lot of heavy rain. Because I mean, take a look at the outer bands of Ian on the north side. They've just been getting pummeled with rain for the last several hours, and it's not even on shore yet. Latest update: winds at 85 miles an hour, making it a Category 1 storm, and it will eventually make landfall. Again, this is our time, not Eastern time. So 7:30 Eastern time, right around Charleston, is when it's expected to make landfall as a Category 1 storm. Here in our area, we are chilly, but again, bear in mind, this is actually where we're supposed to be. 46 in Joplin right now, 51 Iola, 45 Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Columbus, 42 Miami, and 45 in Neosho as we start this day. We've been talking about the drought tracker. This dark red is exceptional drought. That's the highest level there is, and it was expanded yesterday to include a good chunk of the area, which is not good, and we don't have a lot of rain on the way either. 46 when the kids get on the bus, mostly clear skies. Building clouds later today, 74 by 3 o'clock and partly cloudy. Going through the rest of today, we're going to eventually warm up to a high right around 80, 81 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Increasing clouds overnight, starting tomorrow, mostly cloudy, 51 the overnight low. And as we head into the weekend, 82 Saturday as we warm up, mostly cloudy, 84 Sunday, mostly clear, and again, staying dry and unseasonably warm. Well, it seems like the holiday shopping season starts earlier every year, and this year, no exception, with ongoing inflation influencing major retailers to usher in deals beginning in October. Ashley Strohmeyer has the latest from consumer experts on how you can help save yourself some cash, plus what area you may not be able to find any savings no matter how much you search.
It's hard to believe the holidays are drawing near, but as larger retailers prepare to offer some early holiday deals in October to draw in customers weary of inflation, consumer experts warn just because you see a product is on sale doesn't necessarily mean it's a good deal.
To take a step back and look at the percentage of the discount compared to the list price. Is the list price a little too inflated, perhaps, and therefore the discount is not much of a discount?
A slight solution? Retail experts say you should start comparison shopping now for gifts you want to give in December. especially with some economists predicting costs could fluctuate ahead of a potential recession.
My own prediction is that in the next 12 months, we'll likely see a minor recession. That'll lead to a job loss, not just in manufacturing, but in the entire economy.
But one area where comparison shopping may not do you any good is holiday airfare.
Prices are going to keep going up. The energy crisis is still on the table. The war is still on the table. The staffing shortages that caused travel nightmares over the summer have not abated. They're still on the plate. And consumer demand for travel has not diminished at all, in spite of inflation going up.
According to data from travel company Cheap Air, costs for domestic flights currently scheduled for around Thanksgiving are roughly 25% higher than they were this time last year, with costs around Christmas and New Year's averaging about 28% more.
As soon as you find a ticket that you can afford and fits your budget, get it.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Is it too soon for Christmas? I know some people are going to say absolutely not. I also know a few people are going to say you better believe it is. You can vote, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote through our app, and of course take part in discussion on our Facebook page. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, it is World Heart Day, a time to spot cardiovascular disease, which is the world's leading cause of death. And thanks to a rare heart surgery, one U.S. family has a reason to celebrate this day. Mandy Gaither has more on the procedure that saved an infant's life.
From the beginning, Danielle Edmonds says her son DJ was a miracle.
I ended up having a vanishing twin syndrome.
Despite losing one twin, Edmonds says DJ kept growing, but with a heart defect. She gave birth at 26 weeks.
He coded on us all together about 3 times. As you can imagine, it was scary. I thought I had lost my baby.
After he was born, DJ was on a ventilator, eventually diagnosed with a double outlet right ventricle, a heart anomaly where the left ventricle isn't able to pump blood to the body. Traditional open heart surgery wouldn't help, says Dr. Hani Najum.
We needed to do something.
Deciding what to do started with this 3D image of DJ's heart printed out at Cleveland Clinic.
It's better to have a replica of this heart in my hand in the office, so I can decide exactly what I can do, and then I can go in the operating room and execute that operation.
That led Najum to perform a ventricle switch, a procedure he's done before, but never on someone this young. In June 2021, Najum closed the defect and, using a conduit, connected the left ventricle to the pulmonary artery, allowing it to send blood to the lungs.
From there, we could tell he was a whole new baby because his color was coming back.
After time in the pediatric intensive care unit, then rehab, DJ is now home.
He's going to have heart failure for the rest of his life, but he's still here to fight.
Well, the hospital says this type of procedure is typically done in stages and when a child is older. However, in this case, the surgeon felt drying out the surgery would have decreased blood flow to the baby's lungs and worsened his condition. And don't forget, the 4 States Heart Walk is tomorrow morning, starts at 10 a.m. at Missouri Southern's Leggett and Platt Center, and the host, your very own KOAM's Jordan Obby. That's a look at one of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
All right, as kids get on the bus this morning, a wee bit on the chilly side, mostly clear, 46 degrees. We've got increasing clouds and 74 by the time they get off the bus at 3 o'clock today. Going through the rest of today, it's going to be a warm one again, 81 degrees. Increasing clouds give us partly cloudy skies, and we'll start with mostly cloudy skies by tomorrow morning, 51 for the overnight low. And for Friday night football, I know everybody's kind of curious, we are looking at cloud interference because it is going to be a bit on the cloudy side. 67 at kickoff, 63 at halftime, but otherwise pretty good temps for some Friday night football. We're back right after this.
Coming up, McDonald County authorities cut down a crime spree involving the stealing of $20,000 worth of trees.
There is some rain out to our west. Unfortunately, it's not making its way here, but there are some slight rain chances down the way. We'll have the latest coming up.
And one nonprofit takes horses out of unsafe and abusive situations and gives them a safe haven.
The 4 States Most Watched News starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. A quick update on Hurricane Ian. As we know, it's re-strengthened out in the Atlantic to a Category 1 storm. It's got winds of 85 miles an hour and is really just pummeling the Carolinas with a lot of heavy rain, has been for a few hours now. And it is set to make landfall a little later today, right around 6:30 our time around Charleston. A lot of folks in Charleston, from what we've heard, have already evacuated to higher ground ahead of the storm surge and the heavy rainfall that Ian is going to bring. We've got a very chilly start to today, but a seasonable start. 46 degrees in Joplin right now. We've got 43 Nevada, Fort Scott, 45 Lamar, 46 in Carthage and Neosho, 41 as we start the day in Miami. Of course, keep an eye on the drought situation. Exceptional drought now for a good chunk of the area, and unfortunately no major rainfall in sight. Kids getting on the bus this morning. It's going to be clear. It's going to be cool. 46 degrees with a light east breeze. Some increasing clouds later today. 74 at 3 o'clock and partly cloudy. Going through the rest of today, we'll warm up eventually right around 81 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Clouds continue to increase overnight with a low of 51 degrees. And for Friday night football, we got some cloud interference as we'll see increasing clouds, but we're otherwise dealing with decent temperatures. 67 at kickoff, 63 at halftime, and the weekend looking good as well. 82 Saturday, mostly cloudy, 84 on Sunday, and mostly clear. But as I mentioned, there's some slight rain chances that we're keeping an eye on next week. We're going to talk about that in the 7-day forecast here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, sounds like a plan. All right, thanks, Chris. Authorities in McDonald County, Missouri arrest 2 people accused of stealing $20,000 worth of trees. Detectives say Megan Rios Kaminsky and Gavin Lawson, both of Anderson, Missouri, went on someone else's land and cut down several walnut, white oak, and black oak trees to sell. They are both charged with felony stealing. Missouri, Kansas, and Arkansas are among 6 states suing to stop the student loan forgiveness program. The federal plan would reduce some student loan debt for people who meet income guidelines. Attorneys general who filed the suit on Thursday claim it's unfair. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt adds, quote, the Biden administration's unlawful edict will only worsen if inflation at a time when many Americans are struggling to get by. Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt says, quote, this political move by the Biden administration has everything to do with election year politics, but is not authorized by law. The Biden administration did scale back the program to exclude borrowers from privately held federal loans. The White House continues to argue that its plan is legal and claims Republican officials in the 6 suing states are standing with special interests. Missouri lawmakers approve an income tax cut and ditch plans to cut corporate taxes. The bill cuts income taxes from 5.3% to 4.95% beginning next year. The measure now heads to Governor Mike Parson, who is expected to sign it. Parson had directed lawmakers to cut income taxes during the special session. And a horse rescue haven in Stott City, Missouri is asking for donations. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
Angel Wings Equine is a donation-based nonprofit that rescues horses, taking them from unsafe and abusive situations and transforming them into healthy and happy horses.
But for us with rescues, we try to take them in, do what's best for them, and care for them, and get them on the right track.
Each rescue gets a personalized rehabilitation plan to help the horse reach its full potential.
The amazing differences in each horse and what they are able to do and what they connect with is just absolutely wonderful.
Angel Wings started about 2 years ago from a passion and love for horses.
It's always been an absolute passion of mine, especially looking and working with young horses. I've always loved the young horses, hence why we do rescue a lot of young horses.
The love of horses is what brought Mervin and Sandra together to create Angel Wings.
And here we are, we're married, and we got this place.
Wonderful place.
The stable functions on volunteerism and donations.
You know, it's a diamond in the rough, and it's been challenging, but it's been very rewarding.
Reporting in Stott City, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
You can find information to donate and volunteer on KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, this morning we're discussing holiday shopping and travel. If you've been inside a store recently, chances are you've seen the signs of Christmas.
Retailers have ramped up holiday deals to try to lure customers weary of inflation talk, but experts warn just because you see something on sale, that doesn't necessarily make it a good deal.
They go on to say you should do comparison shopping now, as costs could fluctuate ahead of the holiday season and a potential recession.
And all the talk of shopping and deals is not to say the holidays are only about gift giving, but it did make us wonder, is it too soon to start talking about Christmas? And that is our question to you. So far, 80% of you say yes it is, 20% of you say no it's not, and I know, again, folks on both sides of that it is absolutely not too soon to start talking about, June is not too soon for them to start talking about Christmas, and there are others that would rather wait until after Thanksgiving to even begin to consider Christmas. So
there's some years that I start my Christmas shopping sometimes in January. I can't do that anymore. My boys are they're so indecisive on things that they want, or
that's kids of almost any age these days.
Earlier I could, when they were little, I could just buy everything after Christmas the year before.
That's always a good deal. And you get some good deals right after Christmas, too. And our boys are all about cars, so that makes it pretty simple. They just want a ton of Hot Wheels cars. As if they don't have enough already, they want a ton more, of course. And they always, our youngest, Ryan, he asks every day, he's like, if I'm good in school, can we go to Dollar Tree and I get a car? I'm like, we'll see about that, bud. You're asking about cars every day of the week. You've got 100 in there. I don't think you need 105, but so make sure you vote through our website, through the app, and of course take part in discussion on our Facebook page. Something else to discuss, our 7-day forecast. We begin to warm up heading into the weekend, mid-80s by the start of next week under clear skies, and we're watching some slight rain chances, but they are there Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures begin to drop, though, 75 by Thursday.
That's a look at our top news stories and weather. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, we've got a double shot of entertainment news just in time for your weekend, including the return of The Bodyguard.
Plus, we're serving up an action-packed movie that will also make you hungry. We'll have those details.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Each day.
Russian President Vladimir Putin is expected to make an announcement saying his country is annexing occupied territory in Ukraine. This follows weekend referendums the West dismissed as sham. Meanwhile, Russian troops are ramping up attacks on civilian areas in the east. Trey Yingst reports.
Smoke rises from the city of Kramatorsk in eastern Ukraine. 11 people were injured when Russian rockets slammed into a group of buildings this morning. As Ukrainians grapple with continued attacks on their country, Russian President Putin is scheduled to announce the formal annexation of occupied territory tomorrow from Moscow. Even Russia's closest allies, like Serbia and Kazakhstan, are refusing to recognize the referendum results. Still, officials in Kyiv are vowing to counter the annexation.
Ukraine cannot and will not tolerate any attempt by Russia to seize any part of our land.
Ukraine's European partners also pushing back against referendum voting, announcing new sanctions aimed at Russia's export market.
We do not accept the sham referendum and any kind of annexation in Ukraine.
Russia faces mounting internal and external pressure amid the conflict and is struggling to galvanize the population to support the invasion. With thousands of fighting-age men still fleeing the country each day, neighboring Finland plans to restrict Russian tourists from entering, even if they have a valid visa.
With this decision, the government states that the entry of Russian citizens for tourism purposes could endanger Finland's international relations.
The Finnish government also weighing in on the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipeline leaks, saying an unspecified government actor is suspected to have sabotaged the lines. And Sweden today saying that another leak was discovered, bringing the total number to 4.
There's a real understanding in Ukraine that puts Putin's annexation announcement today, coupled with the pipeline leaks, will change the course of this war. That's a look at one of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
We've got a very fall-like day to start with us today. Mostly clear skies, 46 degrees in Joplin right now. We've got 52 Yates Center, 54 in Fredonia, 51 Parsons, 46 Columbus, and 41 in Miami as we start this day. We've been talking about drought. Just want to remind you that it is now exceptional for a good portion of the area. And while there is some slight rain chances on the way, it's not going to be enough to help with this drought situation. We are otherwise looking to remain dry for a considerable amount of time. 46 degrees and cool this morning when kids get on the bus, but clear skies. Clouds increase later today, partly cloudy, 74 at 3 o'clock with a light east breeze. As we go through the day, we will eventually warm up to a high of 81 degrees, as you can see, under partly cloudy skies. Clouds will increase through the night tonight, and we'll drop back down to a low of 51 degrees. And for Friday night football, I know everybody's excited. I love Friday night football. We have got cloud interference, but otherwise decent weather. 67 at kickoff, 63 at halftime. Those increasing clouds, but otherwise some good temps. And heading into the weekend, we start to warm up. 82, mostly cloudy Saturday, 84 on Sunday as we clear out. Still unseasonably warm, unfortunately, still dry. Now for the 7-day forecast. Again, we start to warm up into the mid-80s heading into next week. And then we watch the very slight rain chances both Wednesday and Thursday. They're very low end chances for rain, but they are there. The one nice thing they do, though, is take a look at Thursday's temperature, 75. And while it's not on this particular graphic, we're looking at a low of 41 Thursday night, so getting chilly. Our overnight lows also warm up with our daytime temperatures. They become a bit more unseasonable as they creep closer to 60 degrees. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A judge drops murder charges against a Pittsburgh man. Dominic Short had been charged with murder in the shooting death of his mother, Stephanie Short, and the shooting of Velma Kuby. Dominic Short argued he acted in self-defense, and the judge agreed. All charges against him have now been dropped. His co-defendant, James Hamilton, is still charged in this case. Authorities in McDonald County, Missouri arrest 2 people accused of stealing $20,000 worth of trees. Detectives say Megan Rios Kaminsky and Gavin Lawson, both of Anderson, went on someone else's land and cut down several walnut, white oak, and black oak trees to sell. They're both charged with felony stealing. Missouri lawmakers approve an income tax cut and ditch plans to cut corporate taxes. The bill cuts income taxes from 5.3% to 4.95% beginning next year. The measure now heads to Governor Mike Parson, who is expected to sign it. Parson had directed lawmakers to cut income taxes during the special session. Hurricane Ian strengthened again late Thursday as its track shifted slightly to the east. According to the National Hurricane Center, Ian's maximum winds increased to nearly 85 miles per hour. A hurricane warning has been issued from the Savannah River at the Georgia-South Carolina border to Cape Fear, North Carolina. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as the kids head out the door this morning, it's going to be a little cool, 46 at 7 a.m. and clear skies with a light east breeze. Clouds will begin to increase a bit, partly cloudy at 3 o'clock, 74, so not bad otherwise. We've got mostly sunny, then partly cloudy skies, again, as the clouds increase later today, an afternoon high building up to 81 degrees. And as we go through tonight, more increasing cloud cover. Unfortunately, there's no rain with these clouds, but that's cloud cover nonetheless, I guess. 51 degrees overnight tonight. Now for Friday night football, we are looking at those cloudy skies. So we've got cloud interference tonight. 67 at kickoff, 63 at halftime. So good temperatures for the game, just some additional cloud cover out there. Mostly cloudy Saturday, 82, 84 on Sunday, and we'll start to clear out. We stay unseasonably warm. And then there's the 7-day forecast that we want to look at, which, as you can see, we continue to creep back up into the mid-80s and as we stay dry. And then we watch Wednesday and Thursday, where we're watching some slight shower and thunderstorm chances. They're low-end chances, but they are there, which is something that we need because, again, on the drought tracker, we are in a very serious situation when it comes to the drought, unfortunately. So we are going to continue to monitor these rain chances, keep our fingers crossed that they increase. And then, as you can see as well, our overnight lows start to creep up close to 60 degrees, if not in the 60s, which makes them unseasonably warm as well. And the dry pattern holding on for an extended period, unfortunately, and so are the above average temperatures. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
We've got your weekend movie news, including an Academy Award-winning actor turned author and the return of a big screen bodyguard.
Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
Boy, you don't look like a bodyguard.
This is my disguise.
The Bodyguard is coming back to theaters for its 30th anniversary. The romantic thriller starring Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston in her film debut returns to cinemas on Sunday, November 6th and Wednesday, November 9th. The movie spawned the best-selling soundtrack album of all time, and a 30th anniversary vinyl release is due out November 18th. Showtimes and tickets for the screenings are available at thebodyguard30.com. Tom Hanks is writing his first novel. The two-time Oscar winner appears to be drawing on Hollywood for inspiration. It's titled The Making of Another Major Motion Picture Masterpiece, and it's centered on a colossal, star-studded, multi-million-dollar superhero action film. The book is due out next May.
We never really thought about it. I think
Dave Bautista is on bouncer duty. Deadline reports the Guardians of the Galaxy and Dune star will play a club bouncer in Cooler. His character is blackmailed into finding a stolen, drug-filled safe within 36 hours. Production is expected to start next summer. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, we've got another shot of Hollywood news for you this Friday, and this entertainment report is particularly appetizing.
David Daniel, again, setting the table for the Hollywood Minute.
Will you murder me if I move one of your plates?
Nope. It's your kitchen. I'm just living in it.
Chef Swap at the Beach is a cooking competition show with a slightly different recipe. Host Amanda Freitag has Myrtle Beach, South Carolina chefs trade kitchens, preparing the other chefs' signature cuisine with their staff.
I love every part of this because what I do now in my career is I travel a lot and I am a guest in kitchens quite often, and as an expert chef, sometimes I don't even know where the spoons are.
Chef Swap at the Beach premieres Saturday on the Cooking Channel.
Can you confirm that the restaurant incident is the work of the so-called taquito man?
What? This is the taquito everyone is talking about. It's not a taquito.
It's lumpia, the Filipino egg roll.
Here's an action movie that'll make you hungry. Lumpia with a Vengeance is a Filipino-American indie comedy from Patricio Janelsa, featuring a mostly Filipino cast, a wedding, a crime syndicate, and of course those delicious spring rolls of the title. Lumpia with a Vengeance premieres Friday in select markets and rolls out wider throughout October, which is Filipino-American History Month. Getting mine to go in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
So, of course, we do our own cooking here every Thursday with Chef Anthony on the KOAM Morning News. And I keep thinking about this. Now, HBO has this series where they are following this television station crew in Pahrump days and their stories. I think they need to come here. I think it'd be a much more entertaining show to watch.
Maybe so. How personal would they get, though?
Here's the problem. As bad as it is, I haven't actually seen the show. I've only ever seen, bits and pieces from it. But, I feel like they'll get personal enough. It seems to be almost like, I can't really describe it. I guess ER is the closest thing, where you follow the lives of these folks and what their day-to-day activities are like. And, I think it might be interesting for people to see what we do, not just on air, but behind the scenes, to get everything ready, to get stories for the day, for our evening newscast, what our reporters
I don't think
do.
they make enough camera people to keep up with me.
I think it could be very interesting for people to get a sneak peek. Maybe that's something we should just do ourselves. Make our own little documentary about behind-the-scenes life here at KOAM.
What happens after the cameras are off?
Yeah, or even just in the commercial breaks. We have a little fun. We laugh, we chat.
And sometimes Chris curls up in a ball in this chair.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
On occasion. Well, the thing is, in all honesty, I'm short enough that I count as carry-on luggage because I fit in the overhead compartment on an airplane.
We were joking about possibly trying to find something creative to do for a TikTok this week and maybe putting you in the oven.
That's not a bad idea.
If it wasn't dirty.
I'd probably fit, though, and that's the thing. I worked at another TV station here in town. You can't really, that narrows it down a lot. But when I was much younger, and we actually did a whole video of me coming out of all these places in the station that I could fit in, because I was even smaller back then. And I could fit into all sorts of things.
At least you have fun with it.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. I have no problem. I know I'm short. No point in trying to pretend I'm not, so might as well have fun with it, right?
There you go.
In high school, running the gym, other kids had to duck under the volleyball net. I did not.
And it's funny that we're paired up because I'm not an average height for a woman either. I'm pretty tall.
Tanya's much taller than I am. Thanks to the magic of television. Doesn't seem that way, but she really is. So, we have a quick check of your forecast when we come back. We are a little chilly as we start this Friday morning across the area, and kids getting on the bus, they're going to notice it. 46 degrees, mostly clear with a light east breeze. Now, when the bus brings them back home, we'll have partly cloudy skies and a little bit warmer, 74 degrees at 3 o'clock. Going through the rest of the day, we are looking at an afternoon high of about 81 degrees. We'll have the partly cloudy skies because the clouds will increase throughout the day. And then as we head into tonight, clouds continue to increase. We're going to drop back down to an overnight low of 51, and we'll have mostly cloudy skies to start our day tomorrow. Now for Friday night football, everybody's looking forward to it. I always look forward to it. We've got cloud interference, but otherwise, 67 at kickoff, 63 halftime. So despite the clouds, we're going to have some good temperatures for football. And we warm up heading into the weekend. Mostly cloudy Saturday, 82, 84 Sunday, and mostly clear. So, of course, still unseasonably warm and, of course, still dry. 7-day forecast shows where we do warm up into the mid-80s heading into next week. And then we're watching some slight rain chances, but rain chances nonetheless by Wednesday and Thursday of next week. We got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Coming up, some Joplin City workers can expect to see a raise of 4% in the upcoming budget year.
We are looking at exceptional drought conditions for a good chunk of the area because of that lack of rain. Some rain chances on the way. We'll talk about that and how warm it's going to get coming up.
And Floridians prepare to assess the high cost of the damage caused by Hurricane Ian and begin the slow process of recovery.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Buck.
I'm Chris Warner. So speaking of Hurricane Ian, of course, we are not done with Hurricane Ian as of yet. The Carolinas just getting pounded with heavy rain, and they have been for the last several hours from the northern side of the hurricane. Still not technically on landfall yet, and it did re-strengthen the Category 1 status, winds of 85 miles an hour. This is the latest view of Ian. A lot of folks, from what we've heard in Charleston, have already evacuated due to the storm surge and the heavy rain expected. You can see a live view down there on your screen. That's from South Carolina. So, again, they're just dealing with a lot of heavy rain and waiting for Ian to come ashore, which is expected to do so about 6:30 our time, right on top of Charleston. So, still a dangerous situation down there, especially with the storm surge and the heavy rainfall that they are expected to get. Back at home, we're all right. We're looking at clear skies, 43 degrees in Joplin right now, so pretty darn cool with a light east breeze. You got 43 in Columbus and Carthage, Lamar as well, 42 Fort Scott, Nevada, and 41 in Miami as we start the day. We mentioned the drought situation. It has only worsened with time as we've just not seen hardly any rain for the last going on 3 months now. I mean, we've had bits of rain, just not enough to make a difference. Kids getting on the bus this morning. We're looking at 46 degrees under clear skies, and then when they come home, some increasing clouds, 74, partly cloudy with that light east breeze. Going through today, we're looking at an afternoon high of 81 degrees under partly cloudy skies. As we head into tonight, partly cloudy skies continue, 51 degrees for Friday night football. We're looking at some cloud interference out there with the increasing clouds, but otherwise, look at these temperatures. Not bad for Friday night football. 67 at kickoff, 63 at halftime. We warm up heading into the weekend as well. 82 Saturday, mostly cloudy. 84 Sunday. We start to clear out. No rain from these clouds, but there is rain in the forecast. It's not a very good chance, but it's a chance. We'll take a look at that and the 7-day here in just a few minutes.
Hey, anything that gives us a chance, at least, we're going to grasp onto that.
Yeah, any chance of rain is better than no chance of rain.
Very true. All right, thanks, Chris. Missouri, Kansas, and Arkansas are among 6 states suing to stop the student loan forgiveness program. The federal plan would reduce some student loan debt for people who meet income guidelines. Attorneys general who filed the suit on Thursday claim it is unfair. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt adds, quote, "The Biden administration's unlawful edict will only worsen inflation at a time when many Americans are struggling to get by." Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt says, quote, "This political move by the Biden administration has everything to do with election year politics, but is not authorized by law." The Biden administration did scale back the program to exclude borrowers from privately held federal loans. The White House continues to argue that its plan is legal and claims Republican officials in the 6 suing states are standing with special interests. Missouri lawmakers approve an income tax cut and ditch plans to cut corporate taxes. The bill cuts income taxes from 5.3% to 4.95% beginning next year. The measure now heads to Governor Mike Parson, who is expected to sign it. Parson had directed lawmakers to cut income taxes during the special session. Well, some Joplin city workers will receive a 4% cost of living wage increase in the upcoming budget year. The city wants to fill about 100 jobs across different departments, and police officers already received a 12% increase. City manager Nick Edwards says the raises are meant to combat the trend of people leaving the workforce or choosing not to work, which makes the labor market very competitive.
It should help the city respond to community needs. With over 100 openings, it's a challenge for the city to respond to those community needs. And so hopefully the 4% increase will make our pay more attractive to people that are seeking employment.
The city will discuss proposed wage increases for the fire department. City Council will approve its final budget plan on October 17th. And coming up, when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7, our own Yana Hatula takes us on a closer look at this story. More than 30 local employers with open positions show up for the Cherokee County Job Fair in Baxter Springs, Kansas. Kansas Works Workforce Center hosted the event in an effort to find local people looking for jobs.
We just hope to connect job seekers to employers. That's our mission, is connecting job seekers to employers, so that way we can benefit our local communities.
Bohr says job fairs have provided thousands of jobs to people locally. Florida begins the long and painful process of recovering from Hurricane Ian. Near Fort Myers, helicopters brought residents of Sanibel and Captiva to safety and searched the barrier islands for signs of life. Search and rescue teams needed the choppers as Hurricane Ian ripped away large chunks of the Sanibel Causeway, cutting off access by land. Across Florida, the destruction can be seen from the air for miles around. Florida residents will begin the slow process of recovery, but authorities warn the danger of flooding has not subsided. We'll have more on Hurricane Ian and the recovery and rescue efforts in Florida later in the show.
And to look at our 7-day forecast shows where we continue to warm up heading into next week. We're looking at the mid-80s. And then we watch some slight rain chances building in Wednesday and Thursday. They do bring temperatures down Thursday for sure, but there are slight chances. We're hopeful those will increase because we desperately need some rain in our area. And like I said, we'll take whatever rain we can get at this point.
That's right. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Ginny Thomas, the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, speaks to the January 6th committee as they plan to wrap up their investigation before the end of the year.
Plus, the shelves in your favorite stores still have plenty of Halloween items in stock, but they're also side by side with Christmas items. And we want to know if it's too soon to start talking about Christmas. We'll let you weigh in.
And a diagnosis of cancer can be a blow to families, especially when children are the patients. But one camp offers children with cancer and their families a safe haven. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, Ginny Thomas, conservative activist and wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, is speaking to the January 6th committee. The long-awaited meeting comes as the Select Committee investigating the Capitol attack is trying to wrap up its work before the end of the year. Natalie Brand reports.
Ginny Thomas, conservative activist and wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, appeared in person voluntarily Thursday to speak behind closed doors with the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol attack.
Thank you for your question. Look forward to answering members.
Committee members first sent Thomas a letter requesting an interview back in June after learning she communicated with former Trump lawyer John Eastman, who helped devise a strategy to try and upend the 2020 election results. CBS News has also reported Thomas exchanged text messages with the former president's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, about efforts to overturn the election.
Whether it involves the wife of a Supreme Court justice or anyone else, if they have information or a role
in an effort to overturn an election, yes, they're not excluded from examination.
An attorney for Thomas said she answered all questions and adds, as she told the committee, her minimal and mainstream activity focused on ensuring that reports of fraud and irregularities were investigated. Beyond that, she played no role.
The meeting comes as the Select Committee moves closer to releasing a final report on its investigation, expected by the end of the year.
This week's scheduled hearing was postponed in light of Hurricane Ian.
To the extent we can reschedule it as soon as possible, we will.
This week also marked the start of the highest profile trial yet related to the Capitol assault. Oath Keepers leader Stuart Rhodes and 4 others in the far-right militia group face charges of seditious conspiracy. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
If convicted, the Oath Keepers could be sentenced to as many as 20 years in prison. Opening arguments are set to begin Monday.
A chilly start. I interrupted Tanya. It's one of those odd days, and now I look as soon as I start talking. It says Tanya has some other things to say. So what she's supposed to say is, that's a look at one of today's top national stories. Now here I am with the forecast. We have a fall-like day across the area. 43 Joplin, Carthage, Columbus, 46 Pittsburgh, 51 Chanute, and 53 Fredonia and Independence as we start the day. Still have exceptional drought across the area, which that's the highest it can go in terms of the drought situation across the area, because we have seen rain since May, but it has not been anywhere near the amount of rain that we need. Looking at the bus stop forecast, by 7 a.m., we're looking at about 46 degrees under clear skies with a light east breeze, and we'll start to see some clouds building in later today, partly cloudy at 3, 74 with that light east breeze continuing. Going through today, we'll warm up, partly cloudy, 81. We're talking 70 at noon, 76 at 5, 65 by 8 o'clock tonight. And going into the overnight, partly cloudy skies, 62 at 11, 57 by 2 a.m., 52 by 6 a.m., because we're actually going to hit our overnight low 51 in between 2 and 6, and then we'll start to actually kind of warm up a little bit. Friday night football forecast, because I know there's a lot of Friday night football people out there. We have got cloud interference on the play, but otherwise good temperatures, 67 at kickoff, 63 at halftime. And our weekend forecast, this is where we warm up a little bit overnight. 82 Saturday, partly or mostly cloudy skies, and we start to clear out Sunday, 84. Despite the clouds, no rain yet, and we'll still, of course, stay unseasonably warm. The future track is what we want to look at because it will show where we are looking at those rain chances. So by Tuesday morning, a little system off in northwest Kansas that will eventually make its way our way. As you can see, it doesn't really do much, but we are hopeful that we'll get some rain chances out of that as we head into Friday, Thursday and Friday of next week. But the other thing it does is briefly, it brings our temperatures down. So as we head into next week, 85 on Monday, mid-80s. Partly cloudy skies Tuesday ahead of the system, and then slight chance of rain Wednesday and Thursday. 82 Wednesday, 75 on Thursday. You see those chances right now are pretty low, and you saw on the future track where some of that precipitation is almost non-existent by the time it gets here. But we are watching those chances, and we're hopeful that they do materialize because we absolutely need that rain. Overnight lows remain seasonable until the temperatures start to warm up by next week, and they start to get into the lower 60s. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. All right, so we've been talking about Hurricane Ian, which of course has re-intensified as it's moved into the Atlantic. This is a live shot out of Charleston, South Carolina. We've been talking about Charleston. They've actually, a lot of folks there have already evacuated ahead of the storm and head to higher ground because we're expecting torrential rainfall, storm surge with this, and then of course the hurricane force winds on top of that. And the Carolinas have been getting drenched in rain for the last few hours from the northern edge of Ian. Ian itself still offshore just to the south of Charleston and expected to make landfall later today. So let's take a look. Because of the coastal waters, it's a little harder to see, but we've got hurricane warnings from North Carolina back through South Carolina. You can see where they go a little further inland, of course, including Charleston. And this is the current track on Ian, the current position rather on Ian. 85-mile-an-hour winds, so that does make it a Category 1 hurricane, and then it's expected to continue its track north-northeast and then start to turn slightly northwest and make landfall around Charleston with 85-mile-an-hour winds, gusts of 105 around 6:30 our time. And a quick reminder, the times on our weather graphics stay local to us. So that'll be 7:30 this evening in the Carolinas when Ian makes landfall. Now here locally, we are dry and we are clear. In fact, we are downright cold almost compared to what we've seen so far this year. 43 degrees in Joplin right now with those clear skies. As I said, I absolutely love this. You travel Highway 54 and you get this spread of temperatures. 42 in Nevada and Fort Scott, and then down the road in Iola, it's 50 degrees. We've got 46 Pittsburgh, 43 Columbus, 41 Miami, and 44 in Neosho as we start the day. And of course, still dealing with exceptional drought, and that is the highest level on this drought tracker. And that's what we are just socked in with here for a good chunk of the area, surrounded by extreme drought and severe drought conditions, and we don't really have a lot of rain on the way. Bus stop forecast, kids getting on, 46, mostly clear with a light east breeze. Light east breeze holds on, building clouds, 74 by 3 o'clock. Going through today, we'll eventually reach a high of 81 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Clouds continue to build through the night. We'll drop back down to a low of 51 right about here before we start to creep back up again. For Friday night football, we're calling cloud interference on the play because we have the increasing clouds, but otherwise good temperatures. Look at that, 67 kickoff, 63 at halftime. So good for Friday night football weather. And heading into the weekend, mostly cloudy Saturday, 82, and then we clear out Sunday, 84 degrees, still dry and still warm. And I wanted to quickly show you the rain chances. So we warm up in mid-80s, and then Wednesday, Thursday, they're low-end chances, but they are chances nonetheless that we're keeping an eye on and keeping our fingers crossed that they increase over the next few days. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, more than 10,000 children are diagnosed each year with cancer. Treatment can impact the entire family and be very isolating. And during this Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, Naomi Ruckham shows us a camp that's giving patients and their siblings the chance to just be kids.
These campers are ready for fun. For 16 years, Sunrise Day Camp has been offering children with cancer and their siblings a safe place to enjoy sports, activities, and most of all, families just like themselves.
You get to be yourself because other kids had cancer, and you get to have a lot of fun with your friends.
10-year-old Ella Sujin and her 12-year-old brother Andrew started coming here 3 years ago while she was being treated for B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, or ALL.
When Ella got cancer, I couldn't do anything with my friends. You can make a lot of friends who know exactly what you're going through.
We always say that Sunrise is the silver lining of her diagnosis. She was able to forget that she was still on chemotherapy. It was great for him to be able to come and just be a kid.
At home, it's a world of no, and here at camp, it's a world of yes.
Sunrise now has 10 camps across the United States and Israel, serving about 2,000 children.
Children's jobs are to play, and that's how they learn confidence, they learn new skills, they learn how to make a friend.
I just made a cape today.
6-year-old superhero Alana McCormick and her 10-year-old brother Gavin have been coming for 2 years. Alana was diagnosed with B-cell ALL when she was 3.5.
It's like the best camp ever. It's the most favorite place to be here.
I wanted them to have some sense of normalcy again. It really is an incredible opportunity to be able to come here and have our children be a part of this experience.
And run around without a care in the world, like it should be for kids. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Since the pandemic, Sunrise also moved to virtual camp, so children who live too far away or who do not feel well enough to come to camp can zoom in from home or their hospital beds. Swedish researchers say omega-3 fatty acids can help reinforce the immune system during a severe COVID-19 infection. Supplements were administered intravenously for a study of 22 elderly patients in 2020 before any vaccines were available. The omega-3 fatty acids appeared to trigger a healing response that reduced inflammation but did not inhibit their immune system. High heat equals high danger for people who work outdoors. A study done at Oregon State University found a correlation between warmer weather and serious on-the-job injuries. Days with a heat index above 90 were associated with a 19 to 29% increased risk of getting hurt, possibly due to dehydration or fatigue. And early treatment of gestational diabetes is the key to a better birth outcome. That's according to a study published in JAMA Network Open. It says pregnant women who manage to get their blood sugar under control are less likely to deliver by C-section, and their babies are less likely to require neonatal intensive care. That's a look at some of today's top health story. Here is Chris with another look at your forecast.
Talia, I'm right there with you on that one story.
Well, even the last one, I feel like it was a case of this is the obvious news.
Yeah, I just, as you read, the high heat equals high danger. No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
more likely to get injured in high heat because of your dehydration.
We have graphics that talk about how dangerous the heat is to people outdoors. I'm sorry, we don't often make fun of the news, but man, that one's a good one though. So
Who
just
paid
a reminder,
money for that study?
I mean, I know, and that's the thing. Somebody paid to have that studied. That's just okay. All right. Well, if you're outdoors when it's hot, just don't be. Okay, unless
we need a new graphic that we can pop on the screen that says Captain Obvious.
Something like that. We need something like that. Okay, so we got some weather to get to real quick. 43 degrees in Joplin, clear skies. We got 40 Fort Scott, 49 Iola, 45 Pittsburgh, 43 Carthage, and 43 also in Monette. Drought situation still in the exceptional. This updated yesterday. As you can see, exceptional drought expanded, which is not good. Kids getting on the bus this morning. We're looking at a cool start, 46, mostly clear with a light east breeze. East breeze continues, partly cloudy, 74 by the time they get home, heading for an afternoon high of 81 degrees today. And as we head into tonight, clouds will increase. We'll drop down to 51 and then start warming back up by tomorrow morning. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Coming up, some Joplin city workers can expect to see a raise of 4% in the upcoming budget year.
We are clear and cool to start the day. We're also talking Hurricane Ian as it strengthens off the east coast of the United States. Well, your forecast and the latest on Ian coming up.
And Floridians prepare to assess the high cost of the damage caused by Hurricane Ian and begin the slow process of recovery.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So, as we mentioned, Ian continues to churn in the Atlantic. It's been pounding the Carolinas with heavy rain for the last several hours now. A lot of folks in Charleston, from what we've heard in reports, have already evacuated to higher ground because they knew this was coming. And so that hopefully will help save some lives as Hurricane Ian is set to make landfall near Charleston later today. So look at Ian right now. Still a Category 1 hurricane. Winds of 85 miles an hour. Those gusts are a bit higher than that. Looking at the track, so as it continues to move toward South Carolina, it's going to make landfall just north of Charleston around 6:30 our time. Look at those gusts, upwards of 105 miles an hour, and it goes beyond that. We're talking storm surge and, of course, all the heavy rain as well. Here in the 4 states, we are considerably calmer, although we do need the rain. 43 degrees, mostly clear in Joplin. We've got 40 Fort Scott, 51 Parsons, Independence, 44 in Welch, 42 Grove, and 41 in Anderson. Exceptional drought conditions continue for the 4 states as well. This was updated yesterday. As you can see, it's only gotten worse. And that's just because, save May, we've barely seen any rain since May of this year, and that's not good for the area, obviously. 46 degrees and the kids get on the bus, light east breeze. Clouds start to increase a little bit, partly cloudy, 74 at 3 o'clock. As we go through today, we're heading for an afternoon high of 81 under partly cloudy skies. And we will hit an overnight low of 51. That's going to happen somewhere between about 2 and 6 a.m. because then we're going to turn around and start to gradually warm up under mostly cloudy skies as we head into Saturday. Friday night football. We've got really good temperatures. We are calling cloud interference out on the field. Those increasing clouds, 67 at kickoff, 63 at halftime. And here's why we'll start to warm up overnight. 82 tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Clearing out Sunday, 84. No rain from these clouds. Will stay unseasonably warm and dry. But there is a little hope on the horizon, and we're going to talk about that in the 7-day forecast here in just a few minutes.
That's right. We always like hope on the horizon. That's nice.
It's not a lot, but again, something better than nothing at this point.
Very true. All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, some Joplin city workers will receive a 4% cost of living wage increase in the upcoming budget year. The city wants to fill about 100 jobs across different departments, and police officers already received a 12% increase. City Manager Nick Edwards says the raises are meant to combat the trend of people leaving the workforce or choosing not to work, which makes the labor market very competitive.
It should help the city respond to community needs. With over 100 openings, it's a challenge for the city to respond to those community needs. And so hopefully the 4% increase will make our pay more attractive to people that are seeking employment.
The city will discuss proposed wage increases for the fire department. The city council will approve its final budget plan October 17th. A Joplin animal rescue shelter is warning people about scammers posing as shelter representatives. Scammers are going through the Golden Paws Animal Rescue Facebook comments, telling people they are starting to breed and sell dogs. When they receive payments, the scammers cut contact.
It affects how people perceive us, because we are a shelter of taking care of animals. We're not in the business of selling dogs. We're not a breeder. So it affects us as far as what people perspect us to be, because we are a shelter and we're a nonprofit shelter and we're a rescue shelter at that. We're not a breeder.
Gardner says the scammers are in no way affiliated with Golden Paws. CBS News has confirmed at least 6 deaths in Florida are being blamed on Hurricane Ian. Rescue crews across the state continue working to save people who could be trapped in flooded homes and buildings left in ruins. Kristen Benavides has more.
Near Fort Myers, search and rescue teams brought residents of Sanibel and Captiva to safety and scoured the barrier islands for signs of life.
So people that were surprised by how quickly the storm turned and ended up being trapped.
Hurricane Ian's massive storm surge ripped away large parts of the Sanibel Causeway, cutting off access by land. Across Florida, the destruction can be seen from the air for miles around. At the storm's peak, Naples Fire and Rescue had to break the window of this car to pull a woman to safety. Throughout much of the state, people are assessing their losses and counting their blessings.
I'm trying to be brave.
After Ian made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane Wednesday with sustained winds of 150 miles per hour, it tore apart this Fort Myers trailer park.
I literally watched my house disappear with everything in it.
In this Central Florida retirement community yesterday afternoon, airboats with rescue crews were a welcome sight.
I didn't realize they had a storm until they told me. I was asleep.
Here in Kissimmee near Orlando, the city has implemented a mandatory curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. because of major flooding. In all, the county says Ian dropped more than a foot of rain.
We're going to do our best to build Florida back as quickly as possible, but we're not going to be leaving.
At FEMA headquarters in Washington, President Biden said as soon as conditions allow, he will visit Florida and Puerto Rico, which was ravaged by Hurricane Fiona just days ago. Kristen Benavides, CBS News, Kissimmee, Florida.
Even though big attractions like Disney World will begin reopening today, the economic hit to the region from tourism alone is expected to reach into the billions. One analyst tells CBS News in all, those losses could reach $60 to $70 billion, which would rank it among the most destructive storms ever to hit the U.S. Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app.
Of course, one thing I wanted to mention real quick is, we've still been monitoring and in touch with the folks at Fox 4 after we had an opportunity to interview them yesterday. A lot of them, according to Andrew Shipley, we talked to yesterday, lost everything in Hurricane Ian. One of their reporters did a live shot from their apartment, which the water was several feet deep going into their place. So still a very devastating situation down there in the Fort Myers area. And of course, we'll continue to monitor their recovery as things progress over the next several days.
Yeah, our hearts are with them right now. This terrible time for them.
Absolutely.
Well, it's hard to transition to this.
It is,
yeah.
But we are discussing holiday shopping because, if you've been inside a store recently, chances are you've probably seen the sign of Christmas.
You have.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Retailers have ramped up holiday deals, try and lure customers weary of inflation talk, but experts are warning that just because you see something on sale, it does not make it a good deal.
And the experts go on to say you should do comparison shopping now, as costs could fluctuate ahead of the holiday season and a potential recession.
Now, all of this talk of shopping and deals is not to say the holidays are only about gift giving, of course, but it did make us wonder, is it too soon to start talking about Christmas? And that's our question to you. So far, 74% of you say yes, 26% of you say no. I know a few people out there who are saying, no way. And then, of course, I also know the other side of people who are like, man, what? Christmas now? Let's wait, okay? It's not even December yet.
Well, and I think it's a difference on, like, I think it's okay to start shopping for Christmas and getting those deals and spreading out, especially if you have a budget to work with and you got a big family and friends to shop for. But when it comes to, like, decorations and playing the Christmas music,
that seems to start earlier every year. So usually right after Halloween.
The day after Thanksgiving, I start my Christmas music. But I wait.
See, that's what I do.
I wait until the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's not Christmas season until after Thanksgiving. Because Christmas music with Black Friday always seems hand in hand. Very quick check of our 7-day forecast. We continue to warm into the mid-80s, watching some slight rain chances Wednesday and Thursday. They're slight, but they're there. And as we've been mentioning this morning, any rain we can get, we will certainly take.
That's right. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Our own Shannon Becker is in studio this morning bringing us the big 3 stories of the week.
And we've got another look at your Friday forecast when we come back.
All right, it is Friday, and that means we have our very own Shannon Becker in studio.
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
We moved over here to the interview set.
I was relaxing. I was just hanging out, you know. I got 2 hours of sleep, but it's all right. I love it.
Okay, so we've got 3 big stories and a bonus today.
Yes, all right. Big 3 this week. Joplin News first. Sheriff Chris Jennings says that Newton County escapee Michael Durison, he's back in police custody. This is a big story the last 3 weeks. He was found at 1808 West 20th Street near 20th and McCoy in Joplin. It's just to the south of James River Church. So we were there the other day after he had been picked up. He was in a travel trailer in the backyard. And also
is that like a camper?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. And also someone else was there with him, and they could be facing charges. Our number 2 story, Joplin News first, live and breaking news at KOAM News Now. Hey, you're talking about, hurricane. Of course, our Carthage Water Electric Power, our good friends in Carthage, they sent linemen out just before the hurricane hit land, so they were in place and ready to respond. 2.5 million people were without power. I think they're down to about 1.7 million now. So our local guys are out there doing work. Also GRDA in Northeast Oklahoma, and as well Springfield City Utilities had sent some workers as well. Our number 1 story. Did you see the lights in the sky late Sunday night? A lot of people lost their minds. It's kind of a little faded there. Could you see that light, that line of skies? Well, people were like, what is going on? Well, it's Starlink. It's SpaceX, their internet global satellite network. There are about 2,300 of them that circle the Earth.
AKA Elon Musk.
Yes, Elon Musk has started SpaceX. So what's really cool, they launched a Falcon rocket on Saturday, and so this rocket goes up, it put like 52 more satellites in space, but the rocket also lands back down on Earth, so they can use that rocket again. That's what's pretty fascinating about it. So you can read more on our website, KOAM News Now. Don't worry, it's not aliens.
How can SpaceX get its rockets to go up, but we can't get NASA to actually have a launch?
Yeah, I don't know. They're making money. Somebody's making money somehow. They got 500,000 people subscribing to Starlink Internet. That's probably why.
That's cool.
And then our bonus story of the week, Red Hot and Blue. They were supposed to close October 2nd was their last day, but they closed early because they ran out of food. Yes, they are closed permanently forever. Rumors are the building will be torn down. We'll share a little bit more information. I think on October 3rd, they're going to have employees come back and share pictures and stuff like that. But they have already closed, permanently closed. If you check it out online, we'll have more details. They said they had huge response in the last week, and they warned, they said they could run out of food early, and they did. So goodbye, Red Hot and Blue. Well, in the 70s, it was Shotgun Sam's. You probably never heard of that. And then it was a restaurant called Raphael's for a long time as well.
Did they talk about the reasons behind
they're retiring.
Retiring?
That was the reason, retirement. Yep.
I've always had great service there, enjoyed the food there. I have a really good friend that every time he goes to Joplin, he and his wife go there because that's her favorite place to
Yeah.
go to. So
Well, there are
I
other
mean,
ones in the country.
he would prefer mixing it up and going to different places every
Yeah,
now and then.
yeah.
Not that he doesn't like that, but like always the same place. But now they will have to.
No more.
Mhm.
Yep. And you
Yeah.
can't go to Captain D's either. I don't know why I said that, but they're not around either. But anyway, I don't know why. I think Captain D's on the mind.
But there's a lot of new places too.
Yes, there are. There will be a lot more. So
All right.
it's your big three.
All right. Well, if you will stick around, we'll have you back again on our Fox show.
All right.
We'll be right back. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Airman First Class Sean Bingham. The Parsons, Kansas native began his service in 2006 as part of the 185th Air Refueling Wing. To Airman First Class Sean Bingham, we thank you, today's four-state hero.
All right, who's ready for some Friday birthdays here in the 4 states? We've got a good list, and we begin in Neosho with Brindley Hall, who's celebrating birthday number 4. Brindley, a very happy birthday to you.
All right, Faith Stinnett celebrating birthday number 8 this year at a student at Marmonton Valley Elementary. I hope you have a wonderful birthday weekend, Faith.
And we've got Dylan Kendall celebrating birthday number 9, ready to jam and ready for school there. Dylan is in Joplin. Happy birthday.
In Carterville, Zayden Bowman celebrating birthday number 11 this year.
And we've got Aubrey Bruner turning 12 in Lockwood. That's a very cool way to do your own picture there, Aubrey. A happy birthday to you.
All right, and Cannon Lofts celebrating the big old birthday number 14. And Arma, and as I understand, he's pictured with his little brother, who he will not take a picture without.
Some good brotherly love there. Happy birthday to you, Cannon. We head over to Frontenac, where Chastity Young is turning 18 years old today. A very happy birthday to you, Chastity.
All right, in Pittsburgh, Amber Ames celebrating birthday number 38 this year.
And we also have another number 38, Wade Westoff in St. Paul. His birthday was actually yesterday. So a very happy birthday to you, Wade. And of course, you know what that means. You get to celebrate all weekend long.
And we have Candace Harris turning 42 this year. Looking great there, Candace, in Jasper.
And we've got Patty Schultz turning 68 years old today in Chanute. Another yesterday birthday, so Patty can join Wade in celebrating all weekend long and make it a great one. Happy birthday to you, Patty.
All right, and teaching at Columbus Unified High School, Mr. Ross, Matt Ross, is celebrating a birthday. If you have a class with him or run into him in the hallways today, wish him an extra special happy birthday.
I think this list was set up intentionally this way. We have Glennis Wilson celebrating a birthday in Chanute. Birthday was also yesterday. All 3 of my birthdays in a row on the list here have been yesterday, so another weekend-long celebration for you, Glennis. Happy birthday.
We're either getting some late submissions or making some mistakes. Sorry about that if we missed him yesterday, guys. Glad we were able to get him on. And that means you get to celebrate all weekend long, that's for sure. All right, James and Patricia Greenwood are celebrating their 6th anniversary. Congratulations to the Greenwoods.
And we've got Jacob and Amber Jennings also celebrating an anniversary. This is number 11, and they are in Jasper. Happy anniversary to you, too.
And in Lamar, also celebrating 11 years of wedded bliss, Kyle and Shandy Morey. Congratulations.
And our list goes on as we've got Glenda Leroy in Chanute celebrating a birthday, as well as Marilyn Crane celebrating in Columbus. And Carla Crane, who is Marilyn's mom, her birthday's on Sunday. She'll be celebrating, of course, in Columbus as well. Last but not least, Jim and Juanita may be celebrating anniversary number 27 in Joplin.
All right, if you have a birthday or an anniversary, send them to us at birthdayswithans@KOAMTV.com. Make sure you get them to us at least by midnight the night before so we can get them on the day of your birthday. Tell us what day the birthday is and include a picture if you can. We like pictures.
Absolutely. And of course, while you're at our website, why don't you take time to sign up for the KOAM News Now Birthday Club. Get some great deals from local businesses. All you need to do is go to KOAMNewsNow.com and sign up for the KOAM News Now Birthday Club. All right, quick check on Ian. Here's where it is. It is a Category 1 hurricane still with winds at 85 miles an hour, still moving north-northeast at 9, soaking the Carolinas in rain ahead of this storm. This is a live shot from Charleston, South Carolina, which is right in the path of where Hurricane Ian is going to make landfall again, just north of Charleston. So a lot of folks there have already evacuated, moved to high ground ahead of the storm because it's not just the wind, it's the storm surge and that heavy rain that they're getting inundated with as well. All right, our live shot here at 7th and Rangeline. Look at that sunrise. Man, the colors the last several mornings have just been absolutely beautiful. Looks like something out of a painting almost. 43 degrees in Joplin with a light east breeze and clear skies. 51 Chanute, Parsons, 53 Fredonia, 51 in Independence, 42 Miami, and 44 in Neosho as we start this day. Still dealing with exceptional drought. Again, this updated yesterday. Exceptional is the highest category this thing goes to. As you can see, a good chunk of the area is socked in under that and then surrounded by extreme drought and then severe drought around that. So we need rain, and unfortunately, I don't know what we have done to upset Mother Nature, but we have no real rain in the forecast. 46 as kids get on the bus, light east breeze, clear skies, some partly cloudy skies later today, 74 at 3 o'clock. As we go through today, we'll eventually reach a high of 81 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Clouds will increase overnight, and eventually we'll get mostly cloudy. We'll drop to a low of 51 between 2 and 6, and we'll gradually start to turn around and warm up. Now for Friday Night Football, we are calling cloud interference on the field tonight because we will have those increasing clouds, but the temperatures are good. 67 at kickoff, 63 at halftime. Heading into the weekend, mostly cloudy Saturday, 82. Clear out a little bit on Sunday, 84 degrees. Still unseasonably warm and dry. Quick check of the 7-day shows where we get into those mid-80s. And then we look toward Wednesday and Thursday of next week where there's slight rain chances, but rain chances nonetheless that we're hoping will materialize for us because any rain is better than no rain. We're back after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A judge drops murder charges against a Pittsburgh man. Dominic Short had been charged with murder in the shooting death of his mother, Stephanie Short, and the shooting of Velma Kuby. Dominic Short argued he acted in self-defense, and the judge agreed. All charges against him have now been dropped. His co-defendant, James Hamilton, is still charged in the case. Authorities in McDonald County, Missouri arrest 2 people accused of stealing $20,000 worth of trees. Detectives say Megan Rios Kaminsky and Gavin Lawson, both of Anderson, went on someone else's land and cut down several walnut, white oak, and black oak trees to sell. They are both charged with felony stealing. Missouri lawmakers approve of an income tax cut and ditch plans to cut corporate taxes. The bill cuts income taxes from 5.3% to 4.95% beginning next year. The measure now heads to Governor Mike Parson, who is expected to sign it. Governor Parson had directed lawmakers to cut income taxes during the special session. Hurricane Ian strengthened again late Thursday as its track shifted slightly to the east. According to the National Hurricane Center, Ian's maximum winds increased to nearly 85 miles per hour. A hurricane warning has been issued from the Savannah River at the Georgia-South Carolina border to Cape Fear, North Carolina. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
We're starting clear now, but we'll see clouds increase through the day, giving us partly cloudy skies, 81 for an afternoon high. And as we go through tonight, we will drop back down to a low of 51 between 2 and 6 a.m. Then we'll start to turn around and warm up as cloud cover increases. 7-day forecast, while mostly cloudy skies on Saturday, 82, 84 Sunday, clearing out. And then we're watching some slight rain chances by the middle of next week. They're slight, but rain chances nonetheless.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making blue cheese topper in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Of course, your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. And coming up, the United Nations warns of a dangerous escalation as Russian President Vladimir Putin begins annexing 4 Ukrainian regions to Russia.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, our own Shannon Becker pops back into the studio to recap the big 3 news stories of the week.
Plus, what were those strange sounds coming from a flight's PA system? Well, only Jeannie Moose knows. That's going to wrap it up, though, for us for now. We'll see you back here Monday morning. Excuse me, at 5 a.m.
Do it all again today at noon.